Years ago tomorrow, Barack Obama went to Springfield, Illinois, and launched his campaign for president. Hello?
I know, on a very cold day.
Yes, it was.
And then when he announced the VP in Springfield, there was a very hot day, but I digress. Republicans head to Washington for the first major 2012 cattle call. Not a single real contender for the nomination is officially in the race. Charlie Cook is editor of the Cook Political Report, and Stu Rothenberg is editor of the Rothenberg Political Report, but they're friends. He's also a columnist for Roll Call. All right, Stu, let's talk about CPAC. Huge, as we say, cattle call for Republican potential nominees. Two people not there, Palin and Huckabee. What are you expecting?
Well, I think this is playing to the audience. It's all about the audience, and all of these Republican potential candidates are going to come to sell their wares because it's about generating enthusiasm among conservatives, nationally, but also in these early states.
Charlie, what do you make of the hesitance of some of these major contenders of getting in? I understand why Mitt Romney doesn't want to start the race now. But why doesn't Tim Pawlenty? Why doesn't Haley Barbour? These guys that are sitting in single digits. A long campaign benefited Barack Obama in 2007.
You know what I wonder, Chuck, is how much of this is a setup. I mean, remember, Senator Obama spent about, what, $750 million on the course to getting elected president. And so you've got to figure, even with a sluggish economy, that, you know, whoever wins the Republican nomination, to get the nomination, they're going to need to raise $250, $300 million. It's very, very questionable how many of those people can play in that league. And so I think some of it, even after they've decided to get in, there's a lot of setup so that once they jump in, they've got the momentum, they're putting points on the board immediately, they're showing clear progress, and they don't want to get in until they're at the point where they can show immediate movement, you know, just instantaneously upon announcing.
Stu, a lot has been written and said about how the Republican Party right now is so conservative, and looking at candidates who are on the farther to the right on the spectrum. We have a poll number that's really interesting. It was asked, do you prefer the Republicans nominate a candidate that, one, agrees with you on issues, just 29%, two, can beat Barack Obama, 68%. So this issue of electability still holds a lot of sway, suggesting there's a real practical strain to the Republican Party.
Well, people are saying that now. The question is whether they think that their person, the person who they agree with ideologically, also can beat Barack Obama. Often, you know, the conservatives say the most conservative person can win the race. So some of it is pragmatism, but some of it is simply couching this argument of pragmatism within each respondent's ideology.
You know, Charlie, I want to play for you a clip of a focus group. It was pretty remarkable from earlier this week that Frank Luntz did of Iowa Republican caucus goers of the Bill O'Reilly interview of the president. Let me play a clip of it for you because it's a reminder of how conservative the Iowa electorate is. Watch.
I believe that Barack Obama's religious beliefs do govern his foreign policy.
And what are his religious beliefs?
I believe that he is a Muslim.
You do?
Yes.
How many of you believe that here?
Yes.
How many believe? Wow. You believe he's a Muslim?
Yes.
And you think that's having an impact on what he says and does?
Fundamentally, yes.
Now, Charlie, Luntz kept saying they did this of likely Iowa Republican caucus goers. We know the history of the Iowa Republican caucus. It's a very conservative Republican electorate. So will South Carolina following it. How much is this going to just make the Republican race even more complicated?
Well, I think Bill McInturff, our mutual friend pollster, he used to think at the Republican nomination as sort of like NCAA basketball brackets, and that different people were competing for different brackets. And I would argue that the folks that think that President Obama is a Muslim or some foreign agent or something, they are competing in a bracket that's not where a Tim Pawlenty, a Haley Barbour, a Mitch Daniels, a John Thune, where a lot of these people are. They're competing for different niches, and that that group's over there. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's where the fight's going to be really going to be fought. But I agree with Stu that electability is in the eye of the beholder. But I think unelectability is very, very key. And if there is a candidate who is just a no-fly zone among independents, i.e. Governor Palin, I think that person is going to have a very, very hard time
very quickly
busting through.
Very quickly, and Governor Palin, former Senator Rick Santorum, would-be presidential candidate, said, quote, "I have a feeling that she has some demands on her time, and a lot of them have financial benefit attached to them," slamming her for not coming to CPAC. Do you think some Republicans are starting to be less afraid of Sarah Palin and starting to speak out against her?
Santorum in particular is looking at that niche, so he would like to push her off the end of the cliff so he doesn't have to compete with her. But I think Charlie's right. It's all about exactly who's in the game, and to divide up the Iowa caucus attendees, the electorate, if you want to call it an electorate, in that way. And I think it's wide open right now. And I don't know whether Sarah Palin is going to run, but certainly Rick Santorum doesn't want her to.
Okay, Stuart Rothenberg, Charlie Cook, great political analysts, all. Thank you very much.
Where are the candidates? It's still stunning to me anyway. 4 years ago, they were all in.
We'll be right back.